Hey everybody, this is John Franklin Reviewer and I am back, but this time I'm doing a game review here. I'm actually going to be doing a game called Devil May Cry 2. Several months ago I did the first one and now I'm finally doing the second one after all this time. So, Devil May Cry 2. And by the way, I should mention there will be some spoilers here and there, so hopefully you've played the game or you just don't really care about spoilers. What exactly is this game about? Well, this one is actually about Dante once again gotta go fight demons, gotta go take on this villain who wants to play God. What is it that I actually like about this game? Well, we gotta start off with Dante. Once again, just like the first one, he's badass. I love his sword play. I love his gun play. This is great action. He's just, once again, he's just kicking ass, taking names. Another character I really like is this grandmother. She's not in it that much, but I like her mixture of humor and seriousness and all that. I mean, the first time we see her, there's like a big explosion that Dante and Lucilia, I don't know if I'm saying it right or not there, that they actually go see her, big explosion. She comes out of like the basement and she's like, boy, they really made a big mess here. Another character I really like is Arius, our villain, one that Dante has to go after. I do like him. I like this villain better than the first one, who was pretty much just a big statue. He's like this over-the-top 80s villain. I'm a sucker when it comes to that stuff even now. So I really like when you get once in a blue moon in a movie or a video game where you're going to get that. It also kind of makes me laugh. He has a little bit of a squeaky voice to him too, especially whenever he does finally get defeated. Another thing that I really do like, that I actually like more in this one than the first one, is the secret mission rooms. I don't know, the first one I was not a big fan of because you get timed on some of this stuff that you got to kill as quickly as you can. With this one, it just lets you take your time killing these monsters, just have fun with it. And that's another thing about this game, is it definitely has some very fun moments in here. It definitely has moments of humor. But this definitely has kind of an action horror feel to it here, just like the first one did, so very creepy with the monsters and all that there. I thought the monster designs were really cool. Another thing about designs and all that there's this infected tank. You actually take on 3 of them, I think is really cool there, especially when you get closer to it. Like, at one point you see one of them has like eyeballs. Very creepy. And actually thinking about not just them, but the missions. There's like 18 missions here. They're actually pretty easy. I'd say there's maybe a few of them I have trouble with. I really would say most of these missions you can get through in like maybe 10 minutes or less. Maybe 15 or less, even if you're a new person like me. Also, and this just makes me laugh though, I had to talk about this real quick, is there's a mission you're going through and Dante has to slide down this pole, get some red orbs, and when he's sliding down for like the 3 or 4 seconds he's doing it, it reminds me of Fred Flintstone a little bit from the Flintstones, where at the very beginning he's sliding down the dinosaur's tail, jumps in this car, yabba dabba doo, and go. And then the way that it actually ends, the very last like cutscene and all that, where Dante's driving on his motorcycle and drives to hell, and he's like, yep, we're going to hell. And I like the way that actually ended. I like that last, like, I don't know, 10-second cutscene or whatever was really cool there. Now let's talk about the dislikes. The one problem I don't like in any video game is when you get timed in a mission, where you have to hurry up and get out of something and they gotta time you instead of you just going and doing the mission you got to do. Because there's a scene where, of course, at the end of one, you fight a monster on the rooftop here, and then the next scene, the building's about to explode and it's on fire, and they give you like 12 minutes to escape. And I'll be honest with you, most of the time, I'll usually get it on the very first try. Usually barely get it kind of thing there. This one I had maybe a little bit more time than that, but the reason is, like, I feel like I'm being rushed going through this one. It only happens one time throughout the whole game here. But it's just one of those things where it still just kind of ticks me off. Like, no, I don't really want to. I just want to do what I need to do, get out of this building. I'm going to do it and go from there. But I've never been a big fan of timing me. Never will be. At one point, I was going to put this with the likes, and then I was just like, no, not really too much, because it was just kind of back to back. You took on those tanks, those infected tanks. Then right after that, you take on an infected chopper. And it was just like, it was one of those things that was like maybe a few missions later kind of thing. Maybe I would have enjoyed it, maybe not, who knows. But it's just one of those things where you go into a building, the building's being caught on fire. This one, you have to go all the way back to the roof. You got to get up there and you got to fight this helicopter. I think think at least twice here, and I'm just like, no, No, one time would have been fine. Other characters I really wasn't fans of. As much as I did like our villain, Arius, we don't know much about him except that he wants to open up the demon world, he wants to become God, very cliche. And a lot of times I'm fine with not knowing much about your villain in a game or in a movie. Just, oh, this villain wants to go kill things and destroy things, blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to know more about him, and we don't even know much about him. They talk about him a lot, and we see him once or twice before you actually have to fight him, where you fight him like 3 times throughout the game. But I didn't really know a lot about this guy, so as much as it was fun, watching this guy when we see him and all of that, I just really wanted to know more about him and all of that. And then we also have that Lucilia. I'm not a fan of her at all. I mean, I don't know who the person who did the voice acting and all of that. Not a fan of that actress there. Not a fan of her. She's just very boring when she talks. And I get the whole thing why, but she is such a whiny person throughout this game here, kind of thing. Oh, I thought I was this, but I was this instead. I was created by a bad guy. Like, no, I just don't care for it. Never did, honestly. Some of the monsters that have ticked me off in the game just because I had trouble with them too. That's why I'm putting them in the negative. You got this one monster, and this has got to be, in my opinion, the worst part of the whole game too. It almost felt like this could have been like one of those really rushed scenes kind of thing, or maybe added last minute. You never know. But there's a scene where you have a monster, his face and one of his hands comes out of the building, and it looks like the worst CGI I've actually seen in a video game. Now, I know I'm new into the video game world because I used to like them, and I'm just kind of getting back into it now. But I just looked at that, I'm like, every time I see that scene when I play the game, I'm like, no, it gets worse every time I watch it, I feel like. And I hate the monster because you got to fight him twice. First off, you pretty much as a whole monster, and then you got to fight him again with just the head, shooting like lightning bolts at you and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really a fan of it. Ticks me off kind of thing. I wish it was one of those things that, especially if you die with the second part of that monster, you just go right back to him. No, you got to do the whole thing over again. And it just ticks me off because sometimes it takes me like 4 or 5 times to beat this monster. Another one is, it's like this fused monster. There's like 5 or 6 monsters all together. And the thing that I really hate about it, I get the whole thing that it's trying to be tough, especially because it is towards the end of the game and all that there. Whereas, like, you try to sidestep one monster shooting at you, whatever, if it's laser beams, fire, there's like a big air bubble shooting at you and all that there. You try to dodge one, another one hits you. Like, you barely have like that little bit of thin razor that you might be able to kind of dodge both of them or not get hit by either one of them. Another one I'm not a fan. I call them the 3 floating heads, where they're shooting like, one shoots fire out of its mouth, one's like shoots like icicles. I can't remember, I guess one's wind. Just the floating heads, I think, out of all of them, in my opinion, I think I've done a lot better playing the game with them, but still not a fan of them there. Another one is a fallen angel or a demon disguised as an angel, however you want to look at it. This is the final one that you take on. And as much as I like the design, this villain and all this here, I don't like him because, again, for me, he's a little tough to get through and all that there. But it's honestly because I feel like that, and I know you hear this a lot, cheating. The thing is that, because really this last villain has 2 moves, and that's it. It shoots spikes at you where you gotta duck and dodge all these spikes the best you can there, or it has this big freaking long sword that, I don't know, he could be like, 10, 20 feet away, stabs you, and then just throws you over its shoulder like a baby. Really, once you're done playing this game, these monsters are forgettable. You don't really remember a lot of them, except the ones I do mention, but honestly, after like a day or 2, I completely forget about them, and then when you play it again, you're like, ah, shit, I gotta take them on again. Oh. It's one of those things where they're not as memorable, these, hench monsters, I like to call them, over like in the first game. Then the thing is that you get Dante, who's much older in this one, and another thing about it is that they don't give you a timestamp from the first one to this one. He's older. That's all it really is there. That in the first one he was cracking jokes. In this one it just seems like he's more serious. Even in the cutscenes he hardly even talks that much. And then the final thing I want to talk about is the story overall. Honestly, the story is pretty boring. It's not exactly as fun as it was maybe the first time I played it, which I thought was fun, enjoyable and all that. Now you look at the story, and no, it's not exactly fun at all, truthfully. You just look there and I'm like, yeah, they could have come up with a much better script. I don't want to say lazy writing. It just, again, it could have just been a lot better, honestly, here. So my rating on this one for Devil May Cry 2 will be 3 out of 10. Okay, folks. So, are you someone who's actually played this game? What do you think about it? Do you agree? Do you disagree with anything I said there? What's your opinion about it? Give me a comment down below. So I thank you guys so much for watching this here. If you get a moment, please like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, stay awesome.